to today?
Yeah, practice 12. A lot of situation work, got red zone work in today. We got the 2 minute, 7-on-7. Ended up in some late 2 minutes down the end there, trying to get situations. When you have officials, every Saturday training session for us is really going to get into as many situations as possible. I had a couple competitive kickoff return goes in there. They will get a chance to see my team, how to use the sideline, how to get out of bounds, all those things that when you're in a regular session and you don't have officials, it's a little bit difficult because everybody's coaching their position. So we'll see. It's a building process to get our thing. This is just number 12 for us. We got 3 more next week, and we'll continue to go.
Did you have any kind of quick, immediate takeaways, impressions from what you saw?
No, I really don't. I wait till I watch the tape. It was a little slick out here, so that was a quick impression. But besides that, I don't. Until we watch the film, and we'll go back in this afternoon as coaches. Then we come back in. Our Mondays, our Wednesdays, and our Fridays are always after training sessions, so that we get to show this whole thing to our players. So that's kind of the process.
So, Coach, just a few years ago, you'd have live periods at the spring thing.
Yeah, this was spring showcase, so they asked us to go on the 23rd. We normally go on the last day of the year, so that's just how it worked. Last year we did the same exact thing. So this is a carbon copy of what we did last year. We just didn't have fans, so we did it in over in Washington. So.
Right, but you had live tackling before just a few years ago. Now,
yeah, that was a spring game. This was just spring practice number 12.
Have you had any live tackling sessions?
Yeah, we do them in individual drills. That's when we tackle in drills. Where you lose players is when in these things, we've lost Josh Woods, got hurt. He wasn't involved in the play, but someone rolled into him, and that's how he tore his ACL in a practice session. You don't want anybody to get hurt in practice. So we practice and tackle every single day. We've done that for the last 3 years.
Right, so you've eliminated team live sessions.
Right now, yeah. But we'll have some at certain times during camp, but it won't be the entire practice. So we never have a scrimmage where we go for 2 hours and tackle each other, because the game's not like that. But we made for a 10-minute period.
What's your kind of take on where the offensive line is right now, depth-wise and just the play?
Well, we got a couple guys out, but I think they're really battling. When you get Sam back and you get Ciali back, those guys that we think will be really impactful players for us. So I think all those guys on a daily basis have gotten better from practice 1 to practice 12, and that's what our goal is as we go through the spring.
How good have the Murphys been? What have they brought to the defense and pressure?
They're both physical. They can beat one-on-ones. And I think that's certainly something we need to have. We've got to develop a pass rush, but you can't develop a pass rush by blitzing every play because then you leave your secondary out to dry. So the ability to get home in a 4-man rush, and then sometimes with those guys in a 3-man rush, and be able to keep 7 and 8 guys in coverage is a really big deal for us. So I've been really, really impressed with their rush skills. But they're also tough and physical at the point of attack. They've been really good. I think we'll be better on the edge than we've ever been since I've been here. So.
You guys are replacing your top 3 pass catchers. What do you think about the guys that are stepping up into those roles and their potential?
I feel really good about it. I think Jake Bobo's had a great 12 sessions. I think Titus has come along really, really well. Kaz has done a lot of really good things today. He can play both, which is a really good thing about him. And I really think that he and Hudson and Cooley have done a nice job at the tight end spot. So we're excited about what we've done on the perimeter right now.
What about secondary? You're also got some turnover there. How do you feel about how that's shaping?
Good. I think Humphrey and Devin Kirkwood give us a lot of length at the corner. Hump had a big pick today in a 2-minute drill. He did a really, really nice job. He got a lot of experience at safety. Most played a lot of football plays. Almost a 4-year starter. Will be a 5-year starter. They play more games than anybody here just because of the COVID rule. I think Churchwell has played really, really well this spring. So there's a lot of depth and a lot of competition there. So that's a positive.
How about Darius Minnesota at that middle linebacker spot?
Really good job. You can tell he's dialed in. He's keying and diagnosing plays. He's calling plays out before we snap it based on formations. And we're not doing anything right now in our meeting rooms. We're game planning for the offense or the defense, but he's just that smart, intuitive type kid. He's as good an inside kid as I've seen since we've been here. Really excited. And you watch him get better and better as he gets more comfortable in our system. And really taking to Ken's coaching, and Ken's doing a great job with him, but we're really happy that Harris is here.
Brian Strothers kind of got a little time inside. He kind of was edge rusher before. How has his dynamism helped you out when kind of losing
Same
some
thing.
bodies?
We got a bunch of athletes, and we're just trying to put them in positions to play. Bo's played inside, Carl's played inside, Chase played inside. They've all played outside. We're just trying to get kids as much exposure during the spring as we possibly can. So I think Jake's done a really nice job when he's been called upon to that inside, and he also he's got the length to be an edge rusher. So I think he gives you a little bit of experience from both things as we move into the fall.
Chip, how's McGovern work out just leading the defense during the
I think Billy's
practices?
done a great job. You know, all those guys, and it's all those guys. It's a collaborative effort between Billy and Ken and Kaika and Chad and Brian. You know, those guys got together when they got here in February and kind of put together, try to keep as much terminology as possible, because that's always key, I think, for the learning aspects of our players. We've kept a lot of things in place. They've tweaked a few things, and I think our players have grasped it really well, and they're doing some really good things over there.
We had a couple players transfer in the middle of spring camp. What does that do for the guys at those positions who kind of have to step up?
A lot of it is we got a lot of people at those positions, so sometimes those decisions are made because of depth, and they're not getting enough reps. So, you know, they're trying to see where they can fit. You know, a lot of those decisions are based on playing time. So, you know, when you lose people, that gives other kids an opportunity just to get more reps. So, you know, we got a bunch of guys right now that I think want more reps. You know, so it hasn't strained us at all. We got a lot of players out here right now, and we'll still add. We're way over 100. You know, I can look back to our first year. We had 60 kids this fall, so we feel like we got a ton of guys right now. So it hasn't done anything to us from that standpoint.
What's the status of Latu? Because he hasn't been in any team from what I've seen.
Yeah, he's out here running around. We're really excited about him, and look forward to him getting better and better every single day.
But there's a limitation physically because of his past.
Again, he's out here every day running around. I don't comment on those. You can ask the question 17 different ways, but let me answer it the same way. He's out here, he's in full pads, he's doing what our trainers and doctors allow him to do, so we're moving forward.
See, Martell Irby's been another guy who's been unavailable. When he does become available again, what position is he going to play with the striker thing not really being what it was last year?
He's a safety.
Okay.
So that's what he played last year, and that's what he'll play this year.
Yeah, I was just wondering because the striker spot looks a little different than what you guys have been doing. So,
We got three safeties. We got a field safety, a free safety, and a boundary safety. So our first snap, you got Kenny Churchwell, Mo, and Bo Blaylock in there. So three. Martell would be in that rotation of three.
Any advantage or disadvantage of doing this showcase or big spring thing, practice 12, compared to the last one?
I don't think so. Today was practice opportunity 12. As I told our guys, it was just an away game. We usually play home games at Wasserman. We played an away game at Drake, so I don't think it changed anybody's mindset or kind of what their approach is. I think this group loves playing football, so they're excited that we got next week to continue to play football. So whatever you put it, doesn't. It's just I don't think it affected anything. So we'll come back on Monday, really good meetings and lifting, and then fly around on Tuesday like they've been great all spring. So I think they'll be a little bummed out next Saturday when we don't have any more after that, because then there's a break until August. So I don't see anything with that. So maybe more people made it out that it's a really big deal. It's just number 12 for us.
No, I didn't know, because with 3 practices left, can kind of assess from this, and usually the last practice is the big production and everything.
But it's not the last practice.
Right.
So,
Never mind.
okay.
This week, we saw a lot of Tyler Minot at right tackle today. A lot of Josh Carlin. What have you seen in both of those guys?
Both doing a really good job, and they're just competing. So, as we talk to all those kids, there is no depth chart in the spring. It's just, can we get reps? And I think Trev is just mixing and matching, combinations up there. And, I don't think anybody cares, when you get to next fall and we're getting ready to play a game, that who started at right tackle in practice 9 and who started at right tackle in practice 10. It's just, how many reps do you get? Usually, when you look at it, it's because there's 2 there, it's usually split. So if we're getting 100 reps in practice, it's usually 50-50, or it's close. It's 55-45, and then it flips the next day. So, we're trying to keep a chart with just the groupings out there. So we got screwed up once the 2s turned it over once, so the 1s had to come back on the field. So then you got to try to manufacture some more reps for the 2s. But in those game situations, they're driving as long as they can drive, so it's not limited. In our other situations, we're already in permanent racks of 3, so it's easy. 3 of the 1s, 3 with the 2s, and then when we get to the skill situations, 1s, 2s, and 3s are getting dropped because we're only 2 deep at the offensive line right now because of a couple injuries, or 1s and 2s when we get to 11 on 11. But their reps throughout all of spring have pretty much evened out. They're extremely close to a 50-50 there. So, and it doesn't matter to us. It's just trying to get those guys as many opportunities at game speed.
Is there a position that you'd still like to find some more players in the transfer portal, would you say?
I don't think there's a position, but I think they're always going to look at everybody. I think that's our job. So I don't care what position it is. If we feel like addition to the program, then we won't say, there's not one position here where we say, well, we got too many. You know, I think you got to look at what's available. How do they fit academically, first and foremost, to get in here? How do they fit in terms of what we're looking for in a player, on the makeup of a player? And then how would they fit into what we're doing offensively and defensively, or special teams wise?
All right, thanks,
We
Coach.
wouldn't look at we would look at anybody. I think that's what you have to do nowadays, as long as you have openings, and then you explain to the players what the position is and all those other things. So we'll continue to look. That's just the world we live in. Every day, new guys pop up one way or the other. So you know, you're always going to research who the kid is, and if he can help, he's going to be an addition. Then you get involved. And there's other ones where you know it's not the right fit for one reason or another. Academically, you know, what we're looking for, size and speed wise, or something like that. So just you gotta, but you're always going to look. You're going to look at every single kid out there and see if he's a